We're in the bee yard right now. There's roughly 15 hives that we're running here. You'll see the bottom two boxes are the honey that they will use. The ones above those are the supers that we use to extract the honey in the barn.
We've been beekeeping for 8 years now. Ed and Kimmer Wolfinger are the owners of FarmGirl's Honey. They run the business out of their home in North Bloomfield.
So we were trying to think of a name, and I've always been loved chickens and living on the farm, so I'm the farm girl, and that's my honey.
FarmGirl's Honey was created because we weren't getting enough tomatoes.
We stood in the garden one day and we weren't seeing the pollination that we normally saw, and my husband and I looked at each other and said, why don't we get honeybees? So that's how the whole process started.
Now, because we raise honeybees, we have more apples, blackberries, blueberries, everything on the farm. This is a honey super. Once they fill it and they get the moisture level down to about 16-17%, they'll cap it. This is all wax that they make, that they put on top of it. We come over here and we use a hot knife, and the hot knife will actually remove that outer capping. After we get all the wax off, we will transfer it over to the extractor. This extractor will hold 15 frames. You start it out slow. As it's spinning it around, it's actually throwing that honey out of the comb to the side of the extractor, and then it runs to the bottom. We'll open up the honey gate, and the honey will run out.
And the wax that is cut off the honey supers doesn't go to waste. The couple's second business, FarmGirl's Artful Clutter and Such, features products like lip balm and lotion that use the extra wax.
And I show people what perennials we plant for the pollinators, and then it's turned into junk gardening, vintage, and primitives in the shop. And we also sell our honey product here.
FarmGirl's Honey does 2 extractions each year, one in the summer and one in the fall.
The spring honey is lighter, has a nice floral scent and taste, and it's good for just eating on toast. Our fall honey is good for baking. It's a little bit stronger. The goldenrod and aster give it a buttery popcorn taste.
Because honey is an agricultural crop, how much a hive produces depends a lot on the weather.
It's said that if it rains and the water hits the flowers, it takes 3 days in order for it to produce enough pollen to where the bees go back. So the wetter the season, the less honey that you're going to get.
A good beekeeper is normally at the 20 to 25% loss, and these last 2 years just hit us a little harder than normal. We never really know until we get into that hive as to how much they're going to get. Another thing that can happen is that we have a bug called a mite that gets on a bee, and you often wonder, how do I kill a bug that's on a bug? And we run our hives chemical free, so there's nothing we can actually do except manipulate. With the weather and mites and whatever else that they might have had, we lost 30 of our 35 hives last year and had to repurchase. The Wolfingers purchase their bees from Florida. They ship in the mail and are picked up in boxes like this one.
They have sugar, and this is the little queen cage. And we just take the bee boxes out, pour the bees in. And there are 3 pounds, which is about 10,000 bees to start the season. We place a queen in the hive. This is what she'll be on. Her queen cage is here. She's in with a couple workers to feed her. And then there's a candy plug here on the bottom, and they'll chew that plug out. And normally 3 days, they'll release the queen from the hive. And each queen has their own scent. So that's how the bees know which hive they're in. They have their own pheromone.
And we like to collect swarms. If people have bee problems and they see them hanging in the trees, we'll go collect those from them. We thank everybody that buys local honey, because with the last couple years, our product has helped us purchase more bees for the next spring. And each year we have to decide, is it worth doing it? And we love the job so much that it's not a sustainable hobby because we need to sell the product in order to purchase more bees if we need to. We don't have a problem keeping it here. It's normally gone by January or February.